Happy Monday morning, Life Group leaders. It is good to be back with you again this week. I, like many of you, had family in for Thanksgiving. All of my family from Kentucky got to come in to visit, and so we had a great time celebrating Thanksgiving, and hopefully you did too. But now we are on to Christmas. It's amazing. December's here, and we are starting a new series called The Songs of Christmas, and that's where we're going to be diving in for the next several weeks, talking about the music and the song related to the Christmas story. Because it's such a huge part of our Christmas celebrations. Music is. No other time of the year would you ever have somebody walking through your neighborhood singing songs to you. That'd be awkward, but somehow we get away with it at Christmas. People do caroling, and so it's a big deal, especially in Prescott when you think about things like Acronite. I mean, music is just a huge part of our Christmas celebration, and it's always been that way. And so that's why we're diving into the Christmas songs. The songs that are in your Bible related to the Christmas story. And so we began this week with the Song of Mary. And there's a lot of things that we could talk about, but what I chose to speak about and to think about is, what is it that brought the favor of God into Mary's life? And again, we could talk about a lot of things, but as you go through the song that Mary sang, I think humility is what pops out to me, that she was a humble servant, and that's what brought about the favor of God in her life. And I think it paves the way for us to experience the favor of God in our life. And so you have your questions there related to Mary's song. And then I also gave you some of those other passages. There's 5 other passages that I wrote down in your notes that you can look through and study through with your group. 5 passages by 5 different authors, and they're all saying the same thing, that it is humility that opens the door to God's favor, and it's pride that shuts it. And so as we're thinking about desiring the favor of God in our life, what does it look like for us to be humble? Now, one of the interesting parts about this is that the scriptures never teach us or never command us to be humble. Instead, it commands us to humble ourselves, meaning that we haven't arrived. You'll never arrive. No matter how humble you think you are, the command is not to be humble. The command is to humble yourselves. Because no matter how humble you think you are, there's always more humility that we can, as humans, we need to go through, right? I mean, we can always humble ourselves more and more and more. So there's never a line, be humble. If you get here, you're fine. No, it's always humble yourselves as we surrender even more to thinking about ourself less and others and God more. And that's what I want us to get to. So the big time I would love for you to spend, the most of the bulk of your time is in the application, is let's put some hands and feet on this. Let's not just talk about it arbitrarily, that we all need to be humble. Yeah, we all know that. No, what does it look like? What are some things that need to go on the calendar to help me to think about myself less and others and God more? What does it look? What are some things that need to be traditions that need to stop, and some traditions that need to start? Let's come up with some practical application points for what it looks like to have the heart of Mary, to be overwhelmed by what God has done, to humble ourselves, which means not that I think less of myself, but I think of myself less, and I think about others and God more. So what does that look like? So that would be what I'd encourage you to do as we celebrate the Christmas year. Humility, one other thing, is not a feeling. Humility is an action. It's an action. How Jesus, when he humbled himself, he said he became a man. That's what he did in Philippians chapter 2. He humbled himself, became a man. It was an action. When Jesus at the Last Supper, he humbled himself and washed his disciples' feet. It was an action. Humility isn't a feeling. It's an action. And so what are some actions that we can take to humble ourselves before others and before God, especially as it relates to Christmas? So that's the big challenge for this week. Hopefully you'll dive back into your group and have a great week. Look forward to sharing this series with you. We'll talk to you next Monday.